All right, hello there, guys. So you're watching ESL Podcast, English Stories and Lifestyles. And with me here is one of our resident teachers and also one of our academic trainer. Please welcome Teacher Erica. How are you today, teacher?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
yeah, thank you for gracing our podcast. And actually, she'll be one of our hosts in this ESL podcast.
You'll see me more often.
Yes, you're gonna see her more often. So, for today, Teacher Erica, first of all, let's talk about podcast in general. So, as we all know, podcast, this is like a talk show that could be viewed or watched through video, or it could be listened by audio, just like listening to the radio.
Yes, exactly. It's like a modern day like talk show on the radio, but this time it has visuals.
That's true.
Okay, it can be accessed through visuals such as YouTube and other social platforms.
That's nice. And we have actually thought about this social platform because we believe that sharing great stories from our students will be more effective
Yes.
in terms of promoting our school, because by our student stories they can actually or our viewers can feel what they feel here in our school,
Yes.
and also by our students' daily lives as well.
Yes.
So, how long have you been teaching here, Teacher Erica?
Well, I actually lost track because I don't know when exactly I started, but
Just an
I think
estimate.
I've worked here for like 3 years, almost 4.
Almost 4?
Yes, I've started around 2016, I think. All right, in that time I was just an ESL teacher, and as years passed, the development of my career has been like indescribable.
Wow,
Here in CIP.
that's good. And now you're a trainer, right?
Yes.
So you train new teachers and
also our
senior
co-teachers,
Mhm.
yes, the trainers make sure that the teachers are well equipped before they are decked in their own teaching posts. Should I
Yes.
call it that?
No, that's
Okay.
true. Teaching posts.
And also we make sure that our senior teachers or resident teachers also improve as they stay here in CIP.
That's good. Yeah, for those viewers who are watching right now, CIP has a continuous training support for our junior and senior teachers.
Yes.
So I think that's one best asset of CIP. Right?
Yes, actually.
Okay. Now, you've been here for 3 or 4 years,
Yes,
right?
around that.
So, in general, what could be the best part in teaching foreign students?
Well, I couldn't really sum it down to one, but one of the best parts of teaching foreign students is actually like becoming friends with them. Because we've worked together
Yeah.
for a long time,
Yes.
and you know how outgoing I could be.
That's
and
true.
How much I like communicating with people, and making friends with foreign people or foreigners rather is really different from making friends from people in your local area.
Yes.
You get to discover a lot of stuff.
That's
well,
true.
as a teacher, you have to teach them stuff. But then, surprisingly, me as a teacher, I learned a lot of stuff from them, from their culture, from their lives, from how they live their own lives. That's one of the best parts. That's one thing that I really like, and that's one thing that made me stay here in this institution.
Yes.
How about you?
Yeah, actually, I totally agree with that. Well, in my case, actually, just the same. You know, when you see your students improving
Yes.
step by step, and then at the end of their course or at the end of their term, they're gonna say even just a simple "thank you, teacher."
Yes.
Right? A simple note, or with a picture that we usually hang on our room
Yes.
or room's wall.
They give at least like a small token of appreciation just so they can say thank you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Even just like one small chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the best parts or best experience in teaching. And also, just like what Teacher Erica said, we learn a lot from our foreign students.
Yeah.
Like we have students from Japan, Taiwan,
Yeah.
Vietnam, Mongolia. What else?
Myanmar. We also have Myanmar.
Yes, China, Myanmar. So it seems like that you're in their country
Yes.
when you're communicating with them, because as teachers we also learn from our students.
Exactly.
Yes.
The best teacher is experience.
That's true.
Yeah.
Of Of course. Have you been to other countries?
My first trip abroad was in Japan.
Japan. Yeah.
And I really like Japan, not only because it's a very beautiful country, that's undeniable. That's something that everyone would agree.
Yep.
Agree on with me. And I had lots of students from Japan, and they were very hospitable when I went there. They really accommodated us. Actually, I came with a co-teacher, teacher Aliana. And then one student, our friend Madoka, she was also our friend plus student before.
Yes.
But we treat her more as a friend.
Yes.
She gave us a tour of almost many cities in Japan, and she gave us accommodation.
Yep.
Her aunt was very accommodating as well, and I don't know how to explain it, but my experience there was really awesome.
That's nice. Well, in my case, I haven't I haven't been to other countries yet, but probably in the future. So yeah, now in line with learning different cultures, we get great stories from them.
Yes.
So that's actually what we're gonna talk today. So I and teacher Erica will talk about probably one student.
Yes.
Yeah, in
one
our
student each.
teaching term, and then we can actually share to our viewers this student's probably personality, and also learning style.
Yes.
And what else? Even what they
Actually, you can talk about like how much they've improved.
Yes.
Here.
From
like,
day one till the last day, right?
Yes, because that's the most exciting part, actually.
Exactly. Okay, so now let's talk about our students, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, in my case, I had this student from Taiwan. Her English name is Lulu, and I think you know her.
Yeah, she's my student too, actually. Lulu.
Lulu, if you're watching, yeah, please send us a message, and I hope that you like this episode of podcast.
Girl.
Yes. Yeah, Lulu, by the way, she just came back to Taiwan. Actually, she worked as a student manager.
I heard.
In another school, and now because her goal is actually to become a flight attendant.
That would fit her very
Yes,
well.
exactly.
With her personality and all.
She's really outgoing, and she always have this kind of open-mindedness. You know, because we did an IELTS speaking class before, and she's always interested in different topics.
Yes.
Yeah, she doesn't get stuck into the topics that she only like, and she always take notes. And one thing I cannot forget about her is her expression. You know this one. Oh yes, I know. Yes. Oh yes, this expression. Yeah, she's really cute. And also, I can recall. I always do this in the class when my student, is learning from our lesson, and my student easily forgets or probably picks up what we have discussed, and I do this. And then later on, I was surprised, like Lulu also started doing this, like, oh yes, I know.
That's right. She always does that. Even in my class or outside, she's doing this. It's because of you.
Yeah.
Careful. She's doing this.
She tends to copy. I don't know. Maybe not just me. Maybe even your style, or maybe other teachers' style. Yeah, but that girl's but she's really smart.
Yeah, she's really smart. I really like her and her personality because it wasn't very long. It didn't take long time for us to click. Actually, because like on first day she was just transferred to my class, and then from then on,
she transferred to your class.
From then on, the relationship between me and Lulu became like stronger. Like we became friends because she's not easy. She's not really difficult to get along with, and like she's not difficult to teach because even though she likes talking a lot, she really pays attention because she really wants to improve. And then seeing her exposing herself to like different parts of the Philippines, like trying to communicate with the language, it makes us teachers feel good because she's really trying her best to learn.
Yeah, she loves traveling actually. I think she's been to the northern part of the Philippines or southern part.
Yes, she's been to more places than we did, I think. She has more Filipino friends than we do.
Yes. And also, do you remember when she did an EOP presentation?
Yes.
Her presentation was about long distance relationship, and all the people who were in it at that time really, caught her attention. I mean, long distance relationship plus her funny lines.
Yeah.
About, can I say that? Like she said about.
Disclaimer if you're eating.
Yes, disclaimer if you're eating. But that's cute because in reality, long distance relationship is really difficult to handle.
Yes,
right?
actually that's true.
Yeah,
and it's something that's very timely because like our students are living away from their loved ones. So
Yes.
she just gave a topic that everyone can relate to somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's Lulu.
Something I can't relate to, so it's fine.
Yeah. Actually, I checked her presentation. The first time she's a teacher, can you check my presentation? Okay, I said it's too long. You should only show those important outlines. For example, probably the maximum points that you can have could be 3. Really? I should cut it? Yeah, it's too long. Your audience might get bored. So I told her to cut it. And then, yeah, I was surprised. She made all the the people laugh at that time. So,
And that's her like aura. I
yeah.
think she has this positive aura. She can make everybody happy.
yes, that's true.
That's Lulu.
That's for me. That's the best part, or one of the unforgettable students that I've had before. How about you, Teacher Erica?
Me, I actually have a lot. Most of my students are very much unforgettable. But if I could narrow them down to at least 2, maybe. I have one. He's a teenager.
Teenager, okay.
He's a teenager and he's from Taiwan. His name is Peng Huaiye. His English name is Ian.
Oh, okay.
As you know, you've been teaching here for a long time. Teenagers are really hard to handle.
That's true.
Okay, because we've been, guys, admit it. You were teenagers before, right?
Yeah.
So you can relate to that as well. But seeing Ian, he's not an ordinary teenager. He can be reckless at times. He can be, I cannot say rebellious. He can be still playful,
aggressive.
Yeah. He can be like that at times, but then when it's time to learn, he really makes sure he learns. He studies in class, though sometimes, of course, as a student, as a young person, you get to feel lazy.
Yes.
Right? Admit it. Okay, don't lie to yourself. At times you don't like studying. All of you, not just him, okay?
That's true.
But he's really eager to learn. And after CIP, we still got the chance to talk to each other. We're really close. He's like my son. He calls me mom.
Where is he right now? Is he still studying?
He's still in Taiwan. He's preparing for like his college, I think. Yeah. And even after CIP, he asks me for help. Like, can you help me with my letter to another university? And I can see like from the choices of university that he has, he really wants to get the best education for himself, which is not how can I say, it's not common for a teenager to think.
Yeah, because usually teenagers just go with the flow.
Yeah, but he's really like sleeping late at night just to finish his entrance letters, and he's really choosing the good universities. And I also got a news about his grades. They're really good, and I'm really proud of that guy.
Well, what was his goal, by the way? Why is he studying hard?
I think he just wants to have maybe the best life, or just to get a very good education.
Yeah, because I think in Taiwan, if you want to have a good career, a degree matters.
I think in other countries too, like Japan and Korea, degree really matters. And he may look playful at times, but then you will see like he has more substance than what you think he has. He's a really good student, and I'm really, really proud of him. I'm proud of you, son. Continue what you're doing. Okay?
Yeah. So
mama is just your.
All right.
Your Filipino mama.
Yeah. So in CIP you can have your teacher as a mother.
Yeah.
Your teacher could be your father, your sister, or your brother. So so learning in a language school is not just about learning English per se, but also developing a good relationship, right?
Yes, you can be best friends too. And then there's other ones, because we both talked about people from Taiwan, right? And then there's one from Thailand. His name is Woody. He's your student.
Yeah.
If you
Woody.
he's very remarkable to both of us actually, because how can I say, he came in CIP with very little knowledge of English.
That's true.
He cannot understand you, to be honest. Like, you say stuff and then he's just gonna look at you, not really understanding anything.
Yes, that's
but
true.
he studied IELTS as like an entrance course.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And
I think his first month.
Yes. And he knows for himself that he's not really that good in English, but he really tried. Okay, imagine. So I'm gonna start with his score. His initial score was 3.0, and for those who studied IELTS, they know that that's very low.
Yes, that's
for
true.
a score, right? And then I think it was the office who suggested that he moves, right? So they suggested him to move to ESL to somehow build a foundation of English before he enters IELTS. That's, I think, for 4 weeks rather. And surprisingly, after 4 weeks, he came back to IELTS. His score went from 3.0 to 5.
Yeah.
So just imagine how much that
I think he
guy
stayed here
worked.
for 3 months, 6 months.
I think 6 months.
6
It was
months,
just cut
yes.
down short because of personal reasons.
I see.
And I'm really proud of him because he doesn't stop learning, even though his scores were continuously going up. He doesn't stop learning, and he makes sure that, how can I say, he communicates with people from different countries so that he can use the language.
Yep.
His friends are Taiwanese and Korean. Some of them were my students. And even though it's hard for him, he really strives to learn the language.
That's true.
And he's a very funny guy.
Yeah.
He can be very funny.
Speaking of a funny guy, actually what I like from Woody, he just smiles in the class, even,
Yeah.
even if the topic is difficult, the subject is difficult, but he will just smile at you.
Yeah, his smile is infectious.
That's true.
It is. He's a very happy person. That's why his friends like him, because he's funny without any effort. He's just funny. He's funny.
Yes,
Just
yeah.
like his friends. His friends are funny too.
How old was Woody back then?
Around 20s.
Yeah, around 20s,
Yeah,
right?
20s. But now he's married. By the way, congratulations,
Oh,
Woody.
congratulations, Woody. He's married.
He's married.
From Thai also?
Yes.
Her wife's from Thai?
Yes. I'm so happy for you. And he has a very good job now. So
That's nice. So guys, if you want to take the IELTS course, do not be disappointed
yeah.
right away. It will take time, right, teacher?
Exactly. Even Ian, even though he had a good English skill because he was what do you call that? An exchange student.
Oh yeah, I remember his accent was really good.
Yeah, he has a good accent. He was an exchange student in the US. Even though he had a high English level, he still struggles in some parts, but he doesn't stop learning. So you can see his scores going up. So for you guys, even though you have a good English skill or you don't have a good English skill, don't give up just yet. IELTS is difficult, even for people who speak English. They're
true.
very difficult, to be honest. But it requires a lot of practice and effort.
Yes. And
So
yeah, and the IELTS course can bring you abroad or it can bring you somewhere in the world, right? If
Exactly.
you're planning to work overseas, then might as well take the IELTS course.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So speaking of, we're talking about our experiences with our previous students. So, how do you deal with your students' struggles? Do you actually? Because in my case, honestly, there are times that I try to really guide them
Yeah.
from day one, but we also get tired sometimes.
Of course.
So sometimes I will just let my student, okay, try to study by yourself first, and then if you have questions, you can ask me,
Yeah.
or I want you to take this practice first. How about you? How do you deal with the student struggles?
Because the student struggles come in different levels. One of them is just, the lowest one is just getting discouraged. I'm not saying that being discouraged is not really important, okay?
That's normal.
It's just that it comes from that level, just like having this feeling of discouragement, to a high level of just crying in class. So the approaches are different. Okay, like if the student is feeling discouraged, like a teacher, my score is not improving, my English is not improving. I always tell the student, like, you can do it. Can you imagine how much you have improved from day one to
Yes.
now? I let them look back on when they started until now. And then I always tell them, you can just, they ask me, how can I improve my English? I'm
Yeah.
not improving.
That's a common question, actually.
Yes, that's a common question. I tell them,
Yeah.
speak speak to more foreigners in school instead of talking to people with
Yes.
from your own countries. Well, that's fine, but then of course your target is to learn English, so might as well talk to foreigners then. And then I tell them expose yourself to more English media like music, movies, all right, or just talk more because some of them are very quiet.
Yes, that's good.
And then I tell them, you can do it. Don't give up just yet. You've improved a lot. I always emphasize like you've improved a lot.
Yes.
So that they know that they're not on the same level still. Okay.
That's true.
And from the level, that's like level 1. If you get a student who cries in class, that's a different approach. Okay. First, you have to. This requires a lot of warm up. Okay. So
You can do it.
this you have to first comfort the student, explain to her calmly, like, don't give up yet.
Yes. We're just starting.
I know it's hard, but you still have a long way to go. You still have time to improve.
Yes.
Right? Okay, and we cannot avoid people getting frustrated. That's normal. But different approach to people who struggle. So just encourage them even more. Encouragements help, even though they're just words.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and the reward system. Oh, that works really hard,
works.
but that is not good for you as a teacher,
Yes.
especially if you don't have money on that day. Reward system.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, but then it really works.
Yeah, talking about encouragement. Actually, being an ESL teacher, I mean, for me, you're not just a teacher. You could be a counselor.
Yeah.
You could be like a parent.
Yes.
Because we our students have different cultures, right? They have different values.
Exactly.
So it's not the same as like we Filipinos have.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing that we should do as an ESL teacher is to know their culture.
Yeah.
Just like what you said, you have to first encourage them because you might not have the same mindset.
Exactly.
And also, and actually, that would be the sense of fulfillment as an ESL teacher, right? So, guys, for those English teachers who want to be an ESL teacher, you must listen to us now because, well, it's not that easy. But I'm telling you guys, being an ESL teacher for us, it's a good sense of fulfillment. You will have a good sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
And imagine you have helped this foreigner to develop their skills in
Who's
English,
not even
right?
related to you.
Exactly.
Right? It's like a total stranger at first, and then you change this person's life for good, right?
That-
But I have a question.
Go ahead.
How do you handle like for example, students who start crying in class because they
Oh
feel
my gosh.
really frustrated?
Yes, I've
The
experienced.
discouraged students are just are quite common, but those who cry.
Actually, that's a difficult question, but it's true. I have experienced not really a lot, but few students who usually cries in the class.
Yeah.
Well, of course, there are times, or to be honest, teachers also get tired. Teaching for 8 hours. Sometimes you tend to go with the flow of your emotions.
Yes.
A little bit of scolding.
Scolding.
but later on, I'm gonna realize that I think scolding is not good for those students. So the first thing I will do if the student cries in my class, probably I'm gonna close the book, I'll sit down, and I'm gonna talk to my student. Okay, what's the problem? Tell me the problem. Let's talk about it first. Because I don't think my student can focus if my student is crying and my student is... Yeah, right? So you have to stop. You close the book, sit down, and listen to your student.
Yes.
And I'm sure that maybe by that way, your student can actually release what she feels inside, and he or she will feel better after. So that's the first thing I do when a student cries in my class. I sit down, I close the book, and listen to my student.
Yes.
And I'm sure that maybe by that way, your student can actually release what she feels inside, and he or she will feel better after. So that's the first thing I do when a student cries in my class. I sit down, I close the book, and listen to my student. Yes. How about you?
Me, basically the same, because you know, in a classroom setting, you're just like what he said earlier. You're not only a teacher, but you can like a little bit be a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because as a teacher, you have to be aware of like signals when when the student can study or cannot study
Yeah.
because of, let's say, emotional reasons.
Mm.
So you can just close the book and then tell them, okay, or ask them what's wrong.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, what's wrong? Is there something I can help you with?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Maybe give your student a little bit of personal space and then try to
Yeah.
comfort your student.
That's true.
Because that's the only way that you can help her. Because emotions are difficult to handle. Okay, emotions are difficult to handle. So at least do that for your student. Don't bombard her with, like, him or her with a lot of information, and she's already crying. She's bombarded with lots of problems. Okay, so
That's so that we're gonna cry more.
yes, it's like teacher very difficult.
Yeah.
So just take maybe a few minutes. Take a few minutes to stop and then listen to the student.
That's true. Well, that's another challenge for an ESL teacher. Unlike in a normal, how can I say, educational setting, the teacher has the authority.
Yeah.
Right? The teacher actually would not mind or would not care if 20 or 30 students are not, paying too much attention.
Yeah.
Or maybe if one of these students is crying. But in an ESL setting, I think, because it's more one-on-one, so you should take time to listen to your students. So for those English teachers who want to be an ESL teacher again, this is another challenge.
Yeah.
You should be a good listener.
You have to be flexible, though.
Yes, that's
okay,
true.
this job is not just you're doing it for the money. This is something that if you really want to become a teacher, it has to be your passion. It has to be something that you really want to do.
Yes.
So that you know, like, the way to do it would just flow in your veins.
That's
Did
true.
you get me?
Yes,
Okay.
flow in your veins. I like it. And to connect with her statement, your students will see the passion, right?
Yeah.
If your students see your passion in teaching, actually, they will, first of all, they will trust you,
Yeah.
right? They will believe you in everything that you say in the class because they can see that you're passionate about what you're doing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's true. And the students would think, like, sometimes those are actually reasons for changes. Sometimes it's like, oh, my teacher's not interested, my teacher and I don't match. Those are common reasons for changes, and mainly because the teacher doesn't look like she or he is interested in what he or she is doing. That's why in training we always remind them that they have to be flexible. And I think in their schools they were taught, not only in a teaching job but in other jobs, you have to learn to be flexible.
That's true. Yes.
That's basically the thing.
Yeah, so come and join us, be an ESL teacher.
Now you're hiring. Next,
So-
this is an HR episode.
Yes. So, Teacher Erica, before we wrap up this show,
Yeah.
what could be not really the best advice, but what could be the most, you think, the effective advice for foreign students who wants to improve their English skills? Probably give us one or two.
Wow, one or two with my talkative self is too much.
Probably
Okay.
just one.
Yeah.
The best advice that you could give to our foreign students, because you've been here for a long time, so I think you have known different cultures, right?
Yeah.
So what could be the best advice?
The best advice, first, let's go into like a more practical sense. Expose yourself to the language, because if you don't, most likely you cannot apply it. It applies to any kind of language you're learning. If you're not exposing yourself enough to maybe the music, the movies, or like people who speak the language, it would be difficult for you to actually be familiar with it or to be fluent in it.
Yes.
Okay? And imitation is the key.
Okay.
I tell my students that because I learned English, I've developed this skill in English by copying people, or because I'm from the theater, so I imitated people from movies. I imitated how they speak. I imitated how they act.
How they open their mouth.
Yes, that I had the tendency to do that, and my parents said I used to follow people, like reporters from CNN that I cannot remember. Okay, but maybe you can also feel more encouraged or find your purpose. Why are you
Yes.
studying English? Because if you're studying English for like just because my parents told me so, or I'm studying English, believe it or not, to move on, or I'm studying English just because that would not really help you to improve. So find your purpose. What is your purpose? Why are you studying English?
That's actually the first question on the student's first day.
Yes, why are you
Why are you studying this?
Exactly. And be emotionally prepared because this is a real roller coaster ride.
Yes, that's true.
It's not a joke. It's something that would make you frustrated, so you have to be emotionally prepared somehow.
Yes.
Yeah. And and another suggestion, bring lots of snacks because you'll need it. Okay? You know why? Stress eating is life.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can actually eat snacks while they're reviewing. or
Forget
while
about
studying.
dieting. What's dieting? My gosh, you can just don't diet here because that won't help you. That would just frustrate you more.
Yes.
That's it.
So you heard it from Teacher Erica. You have to know your purpose, guys. All right. So if you want to study the English language, well, in any kind of endeavor or whatever endeavor you have, you just have to know your purpose. Because if you know your purpose, you're gonna have a goal, and you will try your best to reach your goal.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, Teacher Erica, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to more podcasts.
Yes, of course. She will be not one of our hosts, but she'll be our co-host. Okay,
So you don't have a choice.
So please watch out for her. And you want to greet someone or want to thank someone?
I would like to thank CIP for accepting me in this institution.
Yes.
Right? I know, but kidding aside, I want to say hi to my students. I hope you guys are watching. You better. This is threatening students, right?
Yeah.
But hi to my students and also to my co-teachers and of course to my family, my sponsors.
Wow, you have
Okay.
sponsors.
And thank you to the cameraman. He's trying to catch my attention by saying, we're also part of this thing. You have to include us in this. We don't have exposure.
Yes, that's
yeah.
you call it invisible signals.
Yes, and I think he's doing a good job. How about you? Anyone you want to say hi to?
Well, yeah, just keep on thanking, keep on giving thanks to CIP, the marketing team, of course, and actually the people who's gonna be the guests in this podcast. By the way, we're gonna have
we get homecomers.
Yes, we're gonna have a sports activity, right?
Oh yeah, by the way,
we can plug
guys.
it in.
We have here in CIP, we have a sports activity 2020. It's on January 31st at our gym.
Yes.
Okay, so watch out for some videos for some. Can I call them ads? Okay, for some invitations.
Yes. Yeah, we have it actually now in CIP page.
Yeah,
Yes.
so watch out for some videos and see how much fun we have here in CIP.
Yes,
and
that's true.
It's not the only activity we have more since Valentine's Day is coming up, so you better watch out for that.
All right, guys. So that's the main goal of this podcast. We want to share our great stories from our great experiences in CIP.
Yes.
Also, we're gonna have guests like students.
Yes.
They're gonna share different stories. Don't you worry, guys. We're not gonna be really educational, but we're gonna combine.
Yeah.
You're gonna be educated at the same time. You're gonna be influenced from our students' experiences here.
Yes, and basically they would tell you all the things that they've experienced here, good or bad. They're gonna be that honest.
Yes, that's true.
So you better watch out for that. We have students from different countries that you might want to watch out for.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe in the future we might get homecomers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's great.
That's a great idea, right? Alumni.
Alumni.
Homecoming.
Yeah, just tell me if one of your students will visit here.
Of course.
Okay, and I think they will be the best people who will actually share great stories, right?
Or maybe we can do a podcast abroad. Who knows?
Podcast. Who's gonna be our sponsor?
I know. I mean, just like a vlog. Don't be too.
Okay.
Don't expect too much.
All right, it's gonna be our vlog. Yes. So guys, yeah, keep on watching. And by the way, next week we're gonna have a guest from Mongolia.
Oh.
Her English name is Paris. I think you know her.
Oh, yeah, I like her name.
Yes. So that will be next week. So please tune in, and we're gonna launch our first episode next week. And So I think that's it. So once again, thank you very much, teacher
Thank you so
Erica.
much for having me, and I am very thankful to have you guys
Yes.
watch this podcast, and I hope you like and you subscribe.
And you're watching ESL Podcast, English
Stories
and
and
lifestyles.
lifestyle.